Emily Monahan, showing the engineering design process. For the process, we always start with the ask a question. The question we were given is, how can I see above the crowd without standing on top of anything? Then the next step is imagine a possible solution. And the possible solution was a periscope. We were also given a plan. So I started with the plan. So I used the provided directions, looked around my house, gathered my supplies, and I used the directions as kind of a guide. I didn't do it specifically like with the exact measurements, which I'll get into here in a second. But so I made some of the changes based off of the mirror sizes I had and the cardboard I had to work with. And also for my test purposes, I was using a bush in my yard. And depending on where you stand at the bush, you need different height help, I guess you can say, to see it. So I aimed for about 40 inches high, which is what it ended up coming out to. So then after you ask, you imagine, you plan, I started the create process. And while I was creating, I was also improving. So the create and the improve, I kind of did it together. So as I went through the process and the folding, and I had to adjust my methods of how I did things if one thing didn't work, or like my tape wasn't working, so I just switched tapes. But this was kind of how it came together for the most part. And then, like I said, with folding, I had some issues. So I ended up having to reinforce some of the holes I made with other pieces of cardboard and some tape, which worked out fine. And then here is the part of the bush I picked to use with my finished periscope. And then this was my test, my results, where this is what I could see across the other side. And then this is the picture of when I walked around to look at it. So you can tell it's the same thing. So it did work. I was able to use it. I do think that there's room for improvement. I think the size, I wouldn't want to take it into an actual concert or anything. And also, like I said, with the bush I picked one spot where I could have gotten away without as much height. And then there's another spot in the bush that having those 40 inches was really helpful for me to be able to see. So, yep, in a nutshell, that's the engineer design process, making my periscope.